Good penetration by Earl Williams again. Comes in with the inside hand and works in his favor. He drew the foul.
He was pushing Major Jones, and the Knicks over the limit. Major Jones is on the line shooting a couple.
The early foul trouble by the Knicks is keeping the Nets into the game. The Knicks continue to dominate play, but they can't quite increase that gap or break it open.
Missed the second shot after making the first. 45-37, under 6 minutes to go. And another foul. Jake O'Donnell using the whistle. And we're going to have a technical foul as well against John Williamson. Williamson has been hawking Jake O'Donnell. So the foul is on Williamson, the personal foul, and also a tee. And Bill Bradley, who always shoots the technicals. We're going to have a couple of substitutions before we get an explanation. John Giannelli, number 40, and Jim McMillan, number 5. Butch Beard, number 9, and Dennis Layton, number 35, all coming in the ball game for the New York Knickerbockers.
I'll tell you, Richard, I think the league is going to be the recipient of little additional monies in the early going of the season this year because of that rule we mentioned a moment ago. Nucatola does want his officials to call that incidental hand contact, especially out front in the open, much more closely this year. The guards are accustomed to keeping their hands on the players, and they're not accustomed to having their whistle blow as a result of it. So you're going to see tempers flare. I think this is what we saw with Burden and Williamson just now. You know, Williamson was playing his normal D with the hands on the man, and it was called, and they're going to resent it for a while until they get used to it and ante up a few times. That'll teach him the new rule.
Layton, number 35, who played some with the Phoenix Suns. Butch Beard, who was with the Knicks last year, coming in a trade from Golden State. He was a starter on their championship club a couple of years ago. John Giannelli on a pass from Layton, missed inside. Giannelli is a man to watch. He has not been the favorite of the crowd here in New York, but is a pretty smart basketball player nonetheless. Lacks certain talents, but he does what he can out there. He has the rebound there and went to the hoop pretty well on the missed shot. Now here is Layton, number 35. Layton is a 6'1" guard. Spins his way inside.
Good move.
Good move by Layton. And a foul called on the New York Nets.
He's an exciting player also, Mo Layton. He can penetrate. Not quite. Here he goes. He's going to his weakness. He tries to bring it back to his left hand, but gets fouled in the process. Good penetration there.
Duval committed the foul. 5:10 to go in the first half. 47-37. The Knicks with the same 10-point lead they had after the first quarter. Missed shot. McMillan wins the fight for it. Single-handedly, Layton puts it up. And this time Duval comes down with the rebound. Dennis Duval, number 25. The Nets are in blue. The Knicks are in white. John Williamson. Good shot by John. 47-39. Butch Beard in the corner. Layton. Now the center, who's Giannelli, has the ball now to the left of the key. Earl Williams out to meet him. Goes into Butch Beard. Quickly went out to Giannelli to avoid 3 seconds. McMillan. Loose ball.
Good
The Nets
play
have
by
it.
Duval. Good alert play there.
Dennis Duval, number 25, who is 6'3". Jan Van Bredikoff, number 20, who played at Vanderbilt. Played some at Denver. Earl Williams. Unorthodox style shooting, but it goes.
You got away with it, but you don't like to see a big man go quite that far from the basket to get his job done.
6-point lead for the Knicks. A kind of alley-oop to Giannelli, who spins around while all alone and hits it. John Giannelli makes it. Good. And the Knicks, after the Nets scored a string, make it 49-41 with under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. First half. Offensive foul against the Nets. And it's against Earl Williams. He stepped up on a pick, and so Williams is hit with his second foul.
We talked about that earlier. That's the second blocking foul he's had called on him. And now he's going to compound it with a technical, which really doesn't make much sense. As I say, you set that block, and Earl, the way he's built, when he sets the block, you know, you can have lunch behind him. It takes the defensive man 2 minutes to get around.
Technical foul has been called on Williams and Bradley, who's been a busy man at the line tonight. That's 3 technicals against the Nets, 1 on Williamson, 1 on Williams, and 1 on the coach Kevin Lockery. So You know, I'll tell you, if the New York Nets are practicing aggressiveness, they get an A tonight.
There are too many games that are won by 1 point. You don't want to give, you know, too many of those technicals away if you can avoid it.
Swinging around on a pick is McMillan. He missed the shot, and Williams the rebound. Duval brings it up. 50-41, the Knicks lead. 3:35 to go in the first half. Van Bredekop in a crowd, goes to Duval. Staying with him is Layton. Layton, good defense. Duval hit, but cannot blame Layton at all. Played as well as he could. McMillan finds the open man. It's Bradley, who normally looks for the open man himself. And Williams, now playing inspired ball, has it to Williamson. Inside to Major Jones. Over McMillan, missed everything. Ginelli out there. The Knicks are going to run. When they ran in the first quarter, they scored. Burden, or that's Beard, out to Bradley.
Well, I'll tell you, you don't see Bradley miss from outside like this too often. Those are his shots. And with Williams controlling that defensive board the way he has, it's really enable the Nets to stay in the ball game.
50-45. The Knicks lead is 5. The Nets are pressing.
That's zone press here.
Pretty good press.
Oh, and
that's a turnover by Layton. He walked. I tell you, the Nets are pressing very well. We saw Barnett, who did not get help before, was triple teamed, lost the ball, and right now they caused the Knicks turnover.
They've pressed 3 times off the made foul shot. That's what they key on. The player makes the foul shot, and they've come up with a violation each time.
Well, the Nets can come within 3 points now with 2:35 to go. So we're having some interesting aggressive basketball and a close game to boot. Van Bredekop misses and McMillan comes out of it. Here is Layton down the middle, tries to put the move on Duval. Major Jones helps him out. He stayed in bounds miraculously. Bradley finds the open man McMillan, and Major Jones fouls him. He hit him like an offensive guard would hit a defensive lineman coming in.
I'll tell you, he paid the penalty. He's limping off. He moved in on McMillan, and as Jimmy was starting his move to the basket, and I think he caught a knee and a calf, and that's going to kind of smart in the morning.
Everybody's over the limit, Nets and Knicks, and so McMillan makes the first shot. Off of what I've seen so far on Jim McMillan, I have to say he's going to make some very big plays for the Knicks this year.
Well, not to belabor a point, but he's just a good basketball player, and he's going to make himself felt. He's not going to win basketball games for you, but he's, as I say, he's steady, and that's what you look for in a professional athlete.
He'll make big plays. He'll make clutch plays.
Yep.
Williamson double team, turn around, hits anyway. Williamson 11 points. He's been a focus of attention on the floor since he's been in there. We have less than 2 minutes to go in the first half. The score is 52-47. The Knicks lead. Layton shot is rejected by Major Jones. Butch Beard tries to play patty cake with it, gets the ball back. Open in the corner. Layton tries to fake, goes in. Layup does not have enough spin, and we're going to have a jump ball. And Earl Williams better watch out, otherwise he'll pick up another tee. 2,
and you go to the showers. I'll tell you, good hustle by the Nets. Here's good penetration by Layton. Jones, who we thought had a Charlie horse a moment ago, comes back and makes a super defensive play. Again, Layton isn't able to finish it off.
Tip is won by New York. New York Knicks, that is. Long bomber by McMillan. 15 points for McMillan. Haywood, when he was in there, had 12. Williamson with 11 is the high score for the Nets. 54-47. The Knicks lead the Nets. 1:25 to go in the first half. Williamson has, I was going to say, a shot blocked, but the foul is on Butch Beard. Alfred Butch Beard, who played his college ball at Louisville.
This is this pattern that the Nets are in is designed to isolate that point man, and this is what Williamson is doing now. He's taking Beard one-on-one on the top of the key. All 4 men are low, and it's enabled the Nets really to kind of play their own ball game and control their game offensively, at least. This low pattern. They're picking low on either side, and that point man is isolated anytime they want it.
Williamson 1 of 2. The Knicks over the limit, so he has another chance here. 54-48 to score. Nets without Dr. J. Julius Erving. There were some stories that maybe Julius Erving will be peddled somewhere else. The Knicks, of course, would dearly love to have him. Who wouldn't? I doubt that very much. I think that Erving, although he is still far apart with Roy Bowe, the president of the Nets, I'd have to think would have to stay with the Nets. Otherwise, they can just pull in their tents, because they're not a franchise without Dr. J.
Okay, Dick Stockton, hold that 1976 thought for a moment. We're joined by Ira Burkow of the New York Times. If Babe Ruth could be traded, so could Dr. J, and he was essentially sold to the Philadelphia 76ers. The legend moved on.
Yeah, and it was a stunning blow, I think, to people in New York City overall. Even though Dr. J wasn't playing in Manhattan and wasn't a Knick, he was still the Nets, and it was still New York area. And he was such an exciting player, and he meant so much to the Nets franchise. He was a successor to Elgin Baylor. Elgin Baylor was really the first player that we can remember who essentially hung in the air, flying through the air. Then it came Dr. J, and then came Michael Jordan. And people sometimes forget that the excitement that Michael Jordan generated was very much the kind of excitement that Julius Erving generated.
Ira, thanks. Now, the Nets, of course, did have Tiny Archibald, but the player in Julius Erving's position was Jan van Bredekoff. And to a man, Nets fans said, "You've got to be kidding me." It's amazing what we find in the vault. More after this.
Speaking of superstars, you're looking at one now, Tiny Archibald, who will toss the ball out. The other starters, Al Skinner, number 30, who was with the club last year at the University of Massachusetts. They're the backcourt. Skinner, number 30, Archibald, number 1. Up front is number 21, Tim Bassett. Larry McNeil, 31, and 24, Mel Daniels. Those are the 5 starting for the New York Nets in the dark or blue uniforms. The Knicks have Walt Frazier, number 10, Earl Monroe, 15, Jim McMillan, number 5, Mel Davis, 31, and Spencer Haywood, 42. So they're going with the same unit that started the ball game. And a jump shot by Mel Daniels is good, and the Nets score first in the second half, and the score is 60-52. Dick Stockton and Bob Cousy here at Madison Square Garden in New York for this exhibition game. Battle of New York between the Knicks and the Nets. Haywood looking inside, and we'll have a whistle by both officials. And the foul is called on McNeil of the Nets. His 3rd personal foul.
His 3rd personal foul. And the Nets have 14 fouls.
Archibald is on Monroe. That's interesting. They're both spectacular players. Someone left Frazier clear. Only Frazier's 2nd basket of the game. They're not worried about Walt. Skinner picked up by Haywood on the switch. They go low now. McNeil against McMillan, and McNeil gets the bucket. 10 points now for Larry McNeil, 62-54. 8-point lead for the New York Knicks. McNeil will be called on the foul on McMillan. And he's just ranting and raving. That's 4 fouls on Larry McNeil. I tell you, the Nets are a demonstrative bunch, Bob.
Well, don't underplay. You know, we talked it's an exhibition, but don't underplay how much the Nets would love to beat the Knicks here. The ABA-NBA thing, rivalry is still there with the ABA teams, obviously. So there's a little extra meaning to the Nets in terms of this game. Plus, with Dr. J out, they'd like to prove that they can do well without him.
Right. McMillan now with 19 points with that basket. Skinner taking Frazier inside and banks it in. Well, we're taking a look now at Al Skinner.
Good move, but it should have been a foul, I'm afraid.
He's 6'4", 190 pounds. Frazier still controls, put the little deke on Skinner, and goes in with the reverse layup. The basket, good as foul. Well,
oh, not a bad move there. Ran that baseline very, very well. Kept control, came up underneath, finished the play. Here it is. One guy takes a shot. Next big man takes a shot at him. Still completes the play. Super play.
one thing about Walt Frazier, if he starts to play real easy, you better play real tough, because he's going to put something on. Going for the 3-point play. The Knicks in front by 11 now. 67-56. Opening couple of minutes here. 3rd quarter at New York's Madison Square Garden. Frazier now with 7 points. Skinner at 6'4". McNeil. Bassett. McNeil coming around a screen from Mel Daniels. Larry McNeil now with 12 points in the ball game. Williamson is the high scorer for the Nets with 13. McNeil 1 behind him. Earl Monroe, magician with the ball, no question about it. Davis finds Frazier. Clyde with that little stutter step, and the reverse layup is no good. And there is Spencer Haywood with the basket. That is good, and a foul.
Good move by Haywood. I think we're going to see it on replay. Let's take a look. Frazier with another good stutter step, runs the baseline, doesn't quite get it. Haywood, watch this, keeps his cool under pressure, takes the one fake. Anytime you're in traffic, you want to fake it once before you go back up. Spencer did it very well.
Spencer Haywood with a three-point play now has 15 points. The foul, by the way, was on Mel Daniels, and that is his fourth personal foul. And don't forget, he hasn't been in there that long. Archibald, number 1. Bassett with the fake on Davis, does not fake him, and the ball goes over the top, so it'll be Knicks ball. For the record, in the first half, the Nets shot 43% of the Knicks 48. 8 turnovers for the Knicks, 10 for the Nets, and that's pretty good considering this is exhibition time. Mel Davis from the corner.
Well, I'll sound like a coach again. I'm still more impressed, frankly, with the defense that both teams are playing. They're still picking up high. They're keeping the pressure on the balls, not getting sloppy, and they're forcing the offense to work a lot higher than it wants to. Both teams really accomplishing this.
McNeil coming in with a short jumper. It's a play that the Nets have used before. McNeil coming around Daniels. 14 points for Larry McNeil. 72-60, the Knicks lead. 8:35 to go, third period here at New York.
Larry McNeil really has warmed it up with, after a slow start. Good move underneath by Mel Davis.
2 good moves by Mel Davis. 74-60, 8 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Third quarter. Tiny Archibald, who loves the running game.
Well, you haven't really seen Tiny open it
No.
up. I think with Jay out of there, Tiny feels he's responsible for running the offense. Daniels puts that shoulder into Haywood and then takes the little fall away.
Still put up a pretty good pass there to Daniels. Monroe with a little magic work of his own. The crowd is used to that. Here is Tiny Archibald. McMillan back, and Frazier coming from behind knocks the ball away.
He had the head of steam up. He got caught from behind in a good pursuit, but on a one-on-one, forget it. Let's take a look. Tiny's got the step at half court, puts it behind, but who is that? Clyde stays in the play.
Bad shot taken in the corner. That was Clyde by Mel Daniels. Lead pass to Haywood. Bassett got a hand on it out of bounds. It's still Knick ball, but it prevented a hoop.
Good hustle again on the defense.
Mel Davis calls the play. He has 5 seconds and gets it out to the Pearl. Earl Monroe. As a screen by McMillan, uses it, picked up by McNeil on the switch. Double team now. Open man McMillan. He'll take it, and he'll hit it. McMillan has 21 points and has played a textbook game thus far.
Oh, what's the record in this joint? I don't think Jimmy's missed, has he? And all from, what, 16, 17, 18?
He was 7 for 9 in the first half, Bob, but I think he has hit 2 now. He must be 9 for 11, which anyone will take any time. Bassett gets inside on Mel Davis and hurts him.
Good move. Mel Davis fell asleep, and he paid the price.
76-64. There you look at the scoreboard here at Madison Square Garden. Haywood, fake. Bassett left his feet, but didn't get burned because of it. But the Knicks still will keep the ball as Mel Daniels lost the ball out of bounds.
You need some communication under there. When you got 3 guys with blue jerseys, you don't want to lose control of that ball.
Timeout called by the New York Knicks. They're looking at Kevin Lockery. His assistant in the light coat there is Rod Thorne, who left last year to coach the St. Louis Blues. No, the Spirits of St. Louis of the ABA, club that dissolved as far as the merger was concerned. And so Rod Thorne decided to come back and join his good friend, Kevin Lockery.
The Spirits of St. Louis. They generated in 1976 a sports story that just won't die and is one of the most amazing things you have ever heard. When the ABA was merged into the NBA, only 4 teams were included: the Nets, the Spurs, the Nuggets, and the Pacers. Teams that were left out, like the Kentucky Colonels, got $3 million to not be part of the deal. Well, the owners of the St. Louis Spirits wanted a little bit more, and maybe they were onto something. No, let's say they were onto something. They wanted the future TV revenue of the 4 teams that were going to enjoy the promised land of the NBA. They worked it out that each of the 4 teams, the Nets, the Pacers, the Nuggets, and Spurs, would give the owners of the St. Louis Spirits 1/7 of a full share. So every year, they got 4/7 of a full TV share in perpetuity. My lawyer told me that's forever. And the owners of the St. Louis Spirits last year got $13 million from those 4 teams for doing absolutely nothing. That trip back to 1976 from the vault continues after this.
Well, a big hand here in New York, Madison Square Garden. One of the symbols of the Knicks' 2 championships was a very physical forward who set picks, rebounded well, and made the basket when he needed to. The handsome man in the middle there with the gray hair is Dave DeBusschere, who's the former ABA commissioner. Played a big role, I guess, in getting the merger, was the general manager with the New York Nets as well. Dave DeBusschere always at home at Madison Square Garden. Knickerbocker ball, Butch Beard, number 9. And Tiki Burton, 14 at guard. Bill Bradley, 24. Giannelli, 40, and Lonnie Shelton, number 8. Bradley looking inside, can't find anyone. Now goes outside to Shelton. Giannelli moving outside. Nets are playing very tight defense, Bob. Bradley's shot is deflected.
Good defensive play. All right, Coach, what are they doing now?
Well, they're trying to get 2 and make it 92-87.
Well, they deserve to after that defensive play. Although they're not going to get it that way, but they do. Off-balance shot.
You're not supposed to ask me what they're doing now. 92-87. The Knicks lead is down to 5 points with 8:20 to go. A lot of time remaining. Burden all over him now is Davis, and they call a foul on Pete Davis. Phil Jackson and Jim McMillan come back in the game, so I think this indicates that Red Holtzman wants this game too.
No, there's no question about it. Again, in the conversation before the game, I was needling that a little bit about being 0-3 at this point. I said, you know, Coach, you kind of want this one. He said, oh yeah, we got everyone healthy, and I think that's all we need is a good win under our belt. So I don't think he's going to let this one slip away if he can avoid it.
Windmill hook by Phil Jackson. Kind of a trademark for Philip.
Believe it or not, that's Phil Staines. He likes to go to his left, and good hook shot artist.
Jackson guarding McNeil. Not a bad defensive player either. Busey. 94-89. Points picking up. 7:40 to go. Double team steal. Here comes Busey. He has all alone Pete Davis.
Boy, that's a good play. That is a fine play by Bakersfield and Bakerville.
94-91. 3-point lead for the New York Knicks. 7:25.
I got it out.
Beard finds open Jim McMillan. He shouldn't miss this one. 25 points for the high score of the ball game, Jim McMillan, and the Knicks are up by 5. So we're getting some excitement in the 4th quarter. If we could have written a script, it wouldn't have been far off of what we've seen. McNeil, baseline, short jumper, he's got it. 20 points for Larry McNeil. The fans are being treated to an exciting brand of basketball tonight, and I hope you enjoyed where you're watching it at home box office. Giannelli's long shot is good. Get the computer, friends. It's 98-93. 6:45.
I think Larry McNeil won himself a reprieve. Kevin Lockie was undecided about him before the game, but I think off this performance, why he's going to have to give it some serious thought.
In the lane, Williams better get out in a hurry. He doesn't make the hoop. Jackson rebounds. Here comes Butch Beard. Double team, open man, Tiki Burton. Timeout called.
My name is Jimmy Carter, and I'm running for president.
Well, this game is far from being settled. Phil Jackson has made 1 of 2 here, and the Knickerbockers lead again by 8 points. But the Nets can apply some pressure. We'll see what happens. Curious as to whether Tiny Archibald will be back at all. Davis going baseline is fouled by Dennis Layton. Team fouls right now. The Knickerbockers with 3 and the New York Nets with 3.
Okay, Kevin's up calling a play. Let's see where they go with it.
Busey, point man. Double team now goes to Baskerville. Out to Busey. He's free for the jump shot, and he's got it. George Busey with a second field goal. 6-point game. Knicks 101-95. Time remaining 5.5 minutes. Busey picking up Burden at the midcourt line. Jackson cutting across. Off the toe of McMillan. Still Knicks ball, however. And Tiki Burden misses the jump shot. Controlling it is Baskerville. Here's Busey. Davis comes out again. Like before, play called by Kevin Lockery from the bench. Ginelli gets a hand on it. 11 seconds to go on the 24-second clock for the Nets here. Ginelli versus McNeil. McNeil with a jump shot off the front rim and will get his own rebound. Nets want to get organized.
They were trying to isolate McNeil on Gianelli. They still want that. They want McNeil to work on Gianelli. I don't think he's got that kind of cool, and they end up with a long 20-footer.
You just got finished talking about all this. Offensive foul charge against Tiki Burden.
Here it is. He got up the head of steam. Good play by Bucci. No question about the foul.
I think the Knickerbockers will be improved over last year. I think that that's evident with some of the people like Haywood and even Beard and Ginelli Walker.
That's what he still wants. There's the isolation.
He got the basket.
Boy, I'll tell you, it worked, but it wasn't the smoothest thing.
22 points for McNeil, 101-97, a 4-point game, and there's reliable Jim McMillan adding his 27th point to the total. 103-97, 4:05 to go. The Knicks lead. This is a close ball game.
Kevin, excuse me, Richard. Kevin better get off this strategy because it worked that way, but at that time, but not by design. McNeil really forced it that time.
Baskerville, number 14, puts the fake on Barnett, and Jerry Baskerville gets the hoop. And Baskerville gets two. It's 103-99. 3:42 to go. Layton with the ball, guarded by Pete Davis, number 3. We'll focus on the game primarily here as the decision is open now. A loose ball foul has been called against the New York Nets. No, it's against the Knicks. Phil Jackson. Look at Phil Jackson. 14 fouls for the New York Knicks. One more, they're over the limit. The Nets have committed 3. 103-99 the score in favor of the Knicks with 3:25 to go.
Well, they still want the isolation, but McNeil isn't now taking advantage of it.
Ginelli got a piece of that shot.
Yeah. Kevin wants McNeil to take him to the basket, which he did the last time. He doesn't want him to stop for the outside shot.
That takes away the fluid aspect of your play.
Well, the mismatch is the McNeil speed and quickness, and if you're not going to go to the basket with it, you can't take advantage.
McMillan lost the ball out, and I'll tell you, was it McNeil that hit the ball and forced him to lose it? So 3:01 to go. There's the story on your board right now.
Key play. Nets have 1 foul to waste. Let's not lose sight of that because with 2:56 to go, that could become critical.
Layton is guarding Davis. Busey puts up the shot, the bad shot, an air ball that is saved miraculously by Baskerville, and the shot is missed. But Busey put up the bad shot. 2:35 to go. 103-99. McMillan, he's hit money shots before. This one doesn't go.
The old law of averages. Jimmy's hit a share. Yeah.
2:25. Crowd is really involved in this game. Battle of New York without Dr. J. And the Nets are going to call a timeout. So the Knicks are going to win this ball game and win their first exhibition game of the season, beating their rivals, the Nets. Daniels with a fake and a layup. 13 seconds to go.
Now they're keeping it in the air.
5 seconds to go. Beard down the middle, dumps it off to the corner. McMillan will take the shot. That's deflected. That will do it. The Knicks have won this ball game, 112 to 107.
So that's how things ended that night at Madison Square Garden. Julius Erving goes on to sign with the Philadelphia 76ers and finally wins his NBA championship in 1983. As for the Knicks in 1976, let's just say they were not the toast of the town. Now, this is about sports history, but it's also about sports television history. So check out how this all happened. We took one of our hidden tapes, 2 inches, about 20 pounds, and had it changed over onto a much smaller cassette that we use to edit now. And we found out that we had a Knicks-Nets game that we didn't know we had, and we were pretty happy about that. Then we got a little interested as they signed off on the air. We noticed that the game on home box office